What's the better option? A savings account or investing your money in the stock market? And that's what we're going to find out today. Guys, my name is TommyBryson. If you don't know me, you're going to know me. Now, a lot of people always ask me, Tommy, I want to save money, but it's not enough to save money because every time I save money, I'm just losing money because of inflation. But I don't want to invest my money into index funds or even in stocks because it's too risky. What if I lose my money, or what if the market goes down and then I end up needing the money? So now I'm going to talk about what's the best, most beneficial way to actually do this and to see what works for you in a way, right? So I want to kind of break it down a little bit, right? Because it's all about in the times that we're in. And right now I think we're in a bear market or in a bull market. Bull market is like when it's rising, right guys? So for example, right now interest rates suck, right? But I did make a video about the top 5, I think, savings accounts in the country that give you around like almost 3%, which is fairly high to have your money 100% secure and FDIC approved, right? So here's the thing, right? If you're saving money, and I'm gonna use an example. I have a friend, right? And he makes some decent money and he wants to save money to buy some real estate, right? He's saving money to buy an asset. Now he told me this, Tommy, I'm just going to put my money in an index fund and everything's going to be fine because it doesn't really go up and down that much. That means volatility. The volatility isn't really that high, right? And I said, okay, try it out, right? He ended up putting it in the index fund, and then during December, the index fund dipped like 10% because it was a market correction, right? Happens all the time. And now what he's doing is, since there is volatility in stocks, and by the way, it recovered like literally like a month later, but you can't really like put all your trust into that, because what happens if you need to buy the house, if you need to make that acquisition or buy whatever you're trying to buy sooner than that, and then during that month the market is down, right? So now what he's doing is he's putting his money in a high yield savings account that is producing him money every single year, every single month, but there's no risk to it really, right? Because he doesn't have over $250,000, which is what the government itself insures, right? So to answer this question is, there has to be a balance between both. I like to see it like this, right? When I think about index funds and investing into stocks, I see that as a long-term thing, unless it's like a career thing for you. Like, unless you want to be like Warren Buffett, you want to read like 500 pages every single day to get to know how to pick an investment, what are the best investments out there, and to learn all the top strategies. And by the way, I don't do day trading. I don't do none of that stuff because I consider it like you're kind of like following the trend in a sense, right? And you're also risking a lot of money. And is the risk really worth the gain? And that's what I mean, right? You see a whole bunch of people always talking about, oh, I made a ton of money in this and that, but how much money did you lose? And what about every single other person that tried that? Now, if you invest your money on what I do, which is index funds, if you invest your money in index funds, you're going to be almost guaranteed every single year, a return between 6 to 8% a year, which is very good, which is around 3 times higher than you would get in savings accounts. Now, why would you be doing this, right? I do index funds and I do stock investments because I see that as long term. So when I'm in my 40s, 50s, or whatever, I'm still investing in that because that's like kind of like for a retirement fund, or like to just have it there. And if it builds up to something incredible, then who knows, I could take that money out, but I'm not really doing it for that reason. I'm just doing it long term to save my money, actually invest my money. Always make the correction to yourself. You're not saving, you're investing. And my savings accounts, which I don't have a savings account right now, I had one, but most of the time, guys, I really don't purchase like anything. I don't really need it, because the only reason I would actually make a savings account is, for example, if I were buying some real estate and I need to save like $50,000, so then I'm constantly putting money in there But every single week, I'm broke. Every single week, I'm broke because every time I get paid, I invest that money right back, and I'm making money back, and I invest it back, and I'm making money back, right? But if you're saving up for a big investment, right, whether it's real estate or buying whatever asset it is, I'm not talking about car, that's not an asset. Get your story correct, bro, right? If you're saving up for something that's big, invest in a high yield savings account, minimum at least 2.1%, minimum at least 2.8%, because there are ones, if you don't know, there are ones that pay you that much money. So that's a really good interest rate. So you might want to invest into that one specifically. Now, here's the thing, right? So if you're gonna buy the house, right, you can put your money in there. So now you're probably telling yourself, well, Tommy, if I'm trying to buy something, then I'm just gonna put it in a savings accounts, right? And that's all I'm gonna do, and I'm just gonna build from there, right? No, that's not what I'm saying. You have to have a balance, because although you're saving for this thing, which is like in your near future, you also have to save for this thing, which is in your far future, in your long-term future, which is like when you're ready to retire, or you're ready to like get older or whatever, right? So I like to do them both. And it's something I learned is that rich people, wealthy people, always think both. Never think one thing. There's no scarcity when it comes to this. Like, don't have a scarcity mentality all the time. It's not good for yourself. There's enough out there. There's enough abundance, and you're gonna get there. And whenever you're trying to make things like make sense in your head, and you're saying like, well, Tommy, if I invest $500 a month here, I can buy my house in like a month or 5 months or whatever it is, right? I'm just putting a random example out there. But if I'm investing this money into my savings accounts, and then I also got to put money into my stock market thing, it's gonna take me way longer. And like the stock market, like anything in life, everything just averages out. You have a perfect balance, and if you don't have enough money, then just make more money. And that's how I see it. So I never ever stop doing something to do something else fully. So I'm always investing in my retirement, in my future, and I'm always investing in my current future, which is making more money. And that's how I like to see it. So find a balance, and do not fall into these loyalty programs with these banks. And I can see this, one day I'll probably be like the face of like some bank or like some promotion and stuff, like I'll be like, this is a great bank or whatever. But for right now, which I'm not. What I mean by this is a lot of us have been banking with some banks for a long time, and we just want to do business with them. Do not fall into that habit, because you got to go where the best deal is. That's how competition works. That's how capitalism works. So for example, I have JP Morgan Chase. A friend of mine has Bank of America. Another friend has Citibank. And guess what? All of us are getting paid like 0.15% on our savings accounts. And when I say 0.15%, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's less than 1%. So it sucks. It's not good. And what we've decided to do is, if you see that's going on, don't be like, oh no, I just love them so much. I love Chase, so I'm not gonna do it. No, don't do that. Go ahead. Watch my video, save your money into a 2.8% high yield savings accounts and put your money in there, because it's going to be making money. And all while you're saving for that big purchase of that big asset that's going to make you money, you can be making money off your money too. And guess what? While your favorite bank, because you're saying like, oh my gosh, I just have this money saved up here. I know this guy, he has like over $25,000 saved up in his Bank of America account, and he literally still has it there because of this loyalty thing. You know what I mean? And what happens is he has his money saved up there, and he's getting paid like literally 0.15%. And I told him, why don't you just go here and you get paid 2.10%? And he's like, oh, I just have loyalty for this, the mortgage that. Doesn't really add up. If you're saving up for a house and you need to be like pre-qualified, they're going to take a look at those savings accounts that you have outside of their bank, and they're going to say like, oh my gosh, this guy is saving money. The money is real. You don't need to have the money in with them. And by the way, this loyalty that you have to this bank, they don't have it to you, because anytime you mess up, they're going to charge you a late fee. Anytime you mess up, they're not going to be considerate unless you kind of talk to them. Most of the time, they're very considerate. I really like banks, to be honest. They're not really like that. But the point is, how the market is right now is really low, so you really got to go for what's best and just always go for that. And I believe that eventually, JP Morgan just made this 2% CD, which is like you have to have your money locked in for like 9 months. And eventually what's going to happen is they're going to switch it over, and they're going to like increase the savings accounts rate because everybody else is. And that's just how the economy works, because if they don't get any business, because people are smart. People know what they're doing. And I'm pretty sure you're smart. And guess what? Subscribe to this channel. Like and comment. Let me know what you're going to start doing. Let me know what percentage of your money you're going to put into your savings account and what percentage you're going to put into your investment account. And by the way, if you don't know how to invest your money, I made a video about that too. But so you don't have to go there, just download the app Acorn. They do all the work for you. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
You've got to start